So hello everyone, in this video we'll be learning some practical things in JavaScript. In the previous videos we learned everything in theory, so let's do some practical things here. So basically first we did our variable data types chapter, in which I told you about different data types. For example, let's say if I create a variable var, not var, let's say num1 or my var, let's say. So in this, I can right now store different types of values. If I use this double quote here, then that means I'm going to use a string here. I'm going to store a string variable. So let's say hello. Now I can directly use hello here instead of this JS or anything you want. So that is the case. Let me just save this. And if I console log this my var here, so same thing will be there. You can see same hello is there. But if I change that hello to, let's say, world, then that should be changed. You can see that has changed now because our variable is changed. Similarly, I can store any number, or I can use single quotes or double quotes inside that as well, that I didn't tell you. I can also use single quotes outside. So that's working. But inside that we cannot use single quotes. You can see it is my ID started giving me this error. But instead of normally using single quotes, I can use double quotes, or if you definitely you want to use this single quotes, so you can use backslash single quote. So then this will be treated as a single quote. So backslash and then this symbol, this single quote. So if I save that, then you can see this single quote is there. This is how, like, similarly you can add double quotes. If you want to add double quotes inside the sentence or inside a text, you can do that. So this is the way. Similarly, I can store any number here, whether it be any string or anything. You can see I can store any integer number, floating number, negative, positive, that's up to you. I can also store exponential numbers, let's say +5. So you can see it is giving us the result. I can also store negative. So this is actually the case. So this is how actually you can store numbers. Similarly, you can store true, false values. So true will be printed there. False is also there. You can also store false. You can see that. Similarly, we can store multiple values in an array as well. So this square bracket is actually an array in which I can store multiple values. Let's say I want different fruit values. So I want apple, grapes, I want banana, and that's it for now. So you can see apple, grapes, banana, three values are printed. If you want a specific value, so instead of printing complete variable, you can write square bracket. This only validates for an array. So you can use a square bracket and specify the index that you want the element for. Like for example, if I want grapes to be printed out, then I'll be using the grapes index. And I told you the index in JavaScript starts from 0. So the array index starts from 0. So the apple will be having the 0 index. This one will be having the 1. And this one is having the 2 index. So I can specify 1, which means second element. So this will be printed out. You can see that. Similarly, I can specify 2 here. So the second one will be printed out. You can see that. But let's say if I add 3 here, which doesn't exist here, so the third index means I'm asking this uh, array to print out the fourth element, but this array is having only the third element or 3 elements. So what will happen? So you can see undefined is printed out, and you know what is undefined. So undefined are those variables which are not yet initialized. So this is the case in here. Similarly, I can store objects in here. I can store an object we can be stored like this in curly brackets. Inside that I can specify key value pairs, or you can consider it as a group of multiple variables. Consider it like that. And let's say I want f name, so I can write student object. Let's say I can write student object here, student, and I can write the f name value. Let's say the f name is Raj. I can add age of Raj. I can leave the double quotes if I want, so that will also work here, but we should add it because sometimes we give some gap between the keys, so that's why this double quotes becomes necessary at that time. In age I can specify the age, let's say this one, and let's say I can specify class, or let's say is married. I can write false here. So if I print this student object, so you can see nothing is printed out because we haven't specified any key. So it is returning us the complete object. So it is in object format. But if I write student dot, and then if I specify any key, you can see my Visual Studio is also suggesting that these are the keys that exist on this object. So I can print f name here. So the f name will be printed out. You can see Raj is there because the f name is Raj. Similarly, I can print age here. So the age will be printed out there. Similarly, I can use this one as well. Then we also had one type of operator we learned about that tells what is the type of this object or any variable. So we can get the type of any variable. You can see it is returning object here. And if I ask the type of let's say age, so what is the type of age? It is a number. So you can see it is returning us the number. Similarly, if I change that to an array, let's say something. So if I do that now, so now it will return us the object again, because array is also a type of object. We can also get the data types of different values. Let's say false, it is a boolean data type, so it will return us a boolean. Similarly, I can write number here, string, or anything. So this type of operator will give us the data type of that particular variable. We can also write our own values here. For example, if I specify number here, so it will return the number here. You can see. Similarly, I can specify true here, so it will return the data type for true value. So we can specify variable or any number or any value here. So this is the case in this. Then we had the operators. So we can learn about some basic arithmetical operators. Let's say I have this num1, let's say 4. We have this num2, let's say 5, or let's say 4 again, or let's say 6 again. I can add them by using plus operator, you know that. So this plus operator will add both the numbers. You can see it is returning now. Similarly, we have the subtraction operator in arithmetic. Yeah, you can see 4 minus 6 is minus 2. Similarly, we have this division operator. You can see division is this. Then we also have the modulus operator, which returns remainder. So if I divide 4 by 6, then the remainder will be 4. So basically this is the case. Similarly, we have different types of values here. I can also use different operators, like I can also use comparison operator. If I do that, so it will return 2 because the modulus is 2. I can also check whether number 2 is greater than number 1 or not. So yeah, it is greater than, that's why it is going to give us the 6 true. I can write the same value here, but now in this case it will return false because they are not greater than, instead they are equal. So I can write equal here, greater than equal I can write. So we'll check greater than equal. Similarly, I can check for equal to as well. So equal to will only check the value, both of them are equal or not. If I make them string, so still that will be true because we have used this double equal, not the triple equal. If I add a triple equal, then this will not be equal because they're not having the same data type. 4 is number and this one is string. So the value is same, but the data type is not same. That's why it is not returning us. Similarly, I can use not operators just like we did in the uh, theory as well. Similarly, you can use any operator here and you can log this out. We also had different operators, like we also had increment and decrement operators, so that we can also use. So for example, if you want to increment that, so you can increment num2, not this one. Now it can be incremented. You can see 5 is returned because 4 is incremented. I can also add post increment, so that will return 4 to us. And if I log out again, or if log something out again, then it will return 5 to us. Right now it is 4, but if I add one more document dot write num2, num2 only, then it will return us the 5. You can see that it is 5. Now it is concatenated because I haven't given any br or anything, that's why. Similarly, you can use a pre-decrement or post-decrement, that is up to you. So these were the operators that we did. I hope you got something that how we can use actually. So these are the practical things we should know. And in when we will be learning more things, like when we'll be learning about functions and if else statements, then we'll be using all these operators. And when we'll be building projects, then at that time also we'll be using all these knowledge we grabbed from theory. So this is it for this video. I hope you got something. Thank you for watching. Let's meet in the another one.